Hello, bonsoir, hello, good evening, welcome everyone to the Stella and Jai show. I'm so happy to have you. Merci. Mais Daniel, tu parles français toi? Mais je savais pas. That's so awesome. I guess like the longer I'm in Toronto, the more I'm realizing that Francophones, y'all are hiding out there. Okay, I need you guys to come out of the woodworks. Good evening, beautiful people. I hope that everyone's well. Again, welcome to our third edition of the Stella and Jai show. Wow, today is going to be a very, very special day. And when I say special day, I know I say that every time because every time is special. But I do say that today is extra special because we're going to have a guest on the show tonight that is really what we need. Yeah, I mean, we need art, we need love, but I'm talking concrete, going to be able to help us really check in with ourselves during these traumatic times. They are literally an essential business for me. And we're going to have the pleasure of having Stella's Place joining us tonight. Woo! Let's get some virtual claps. We're going to be more specifically having on tonight Alex Goslin. She is the manager of clinical and recovery services. Wow. So we're so lucky and blessed to have them come on and talk to us tonight around 9:20. So we're going to hang in there. We got about 13 minutes. Brace yourselves. Before we welcome our special guest, I want us to normally I do a spoken word piece at the beginning to kind of open up the series, and I do want to let you guys know that is a staple of the show that I will be doing, and when I run out of poems I will bring on another talented poet to grace us. But today, because it is kind of a mental health edition of the Stella and Jai show, I found this really interesting resource on CAMH, and for me, every day I try to check in with myself to see how I'm feeling, right? Like some days are better than other days. Some days are really bad. Some days I'm like, whoa, like today was an amazing day for me. I woke up at like 7 this morning and worked out, guys. Yeah, I did. I was like tired of eating my way through my fridge. I was like, okay, I have to get it together. And so I found this also really cool kind of 5-day training program that made me feel engaged, because like that's part of my difficulty with working out. I don't always feel engaged with the the interaction with the workout. So I found one, and today was leg day. So I feel really amazing, and then from there my endorphins were shot. Were amazing. Were skyrocketed, and I was able to then do my yoga and my meditation and writing, and I did a writing workshop with Rupi Kaur, which was amazing, because I really have been having a little bit of a writer's block. Hello Binette, ça va ma belle? J'espère que tu vas bien, chérie. Sampi, I see you. Thank you for joining us. So as I was saying, from there I went on, that's a part of my productivity. I try to make sure that I read at least one poem a day, that I learn something new every day, whether it's about entrepreneurship, or business or finance, or you name it, anything that can help with my personal and professional development. So that's what I do. These again are just a few maybe tips of what you can do during the day. So this is kind of my schedule around being a spoken word artist. So after I worked out today, I did my yoga and my meditation. I made a really intense breakfast, like pancakes and a salmon omelet. I was feeling myself. I don't know what's going on. And after that, I did the writing workshop with Rupi Kaur, which is important to me because I'm also working on a COVID-19 poem that I've been having a really difficult time writing, because I guess that's like kind of me like making it a reality, right? Like in our own way. Once I write things, they become permanent. You know what I mean? So it's always very difficult whenever I try to write this. So I finally got a breakthrough because of this really cool workshop that Rupi Kaur did that said, a letter, write a letter to someone or something. So I did like a Dear Corona letter. So I'll be sharing that with you guys soon. It's going to be coming out. Yay. Hi, Sunray. I see you guys. Mamie, ça va ma belle? J'espère que tu vas bien. Boy, dougounga sur ma live. Vi content na tarap. Malheureusement, j'ai ramené le limon en anglais. Donc j'espère que tu vas pouvoir te débrouiller. So basically I did all that and I was saying today was a good day. That was the point. I went off on a tangent to say this was a good day, but some days aren't so good. So I think it's important to self-assess. And I want to disclaim that, I want to disclaim, sorry guys, just give me a second, because I have graphics. I'm dropping graphics on y'all. So, you know, you got to bear with me. This is a full production, okay? So, it's important for me, like I was saying, to check in every day with myself just to see how I'm feeling. So I found this really incredible self-assessment resource on CAMH, and I want to kind of share it with you guys. We have about 10 minutes before we have Alex from Stella's Place joining us, who is again the manager of clinical and recovery services. What an honor! How lucky are we, right? So before we do that, you know, let's do a little bit of a self-assessment and see like how you're feeling today. Let's take a mental health meter. And again, just as a disclosure, this is, you know, I'm not a specialist or a mental health professional or specialist by any means. This is just something, this isn't to replace a diagnosis if you feel that you need one. I do want to disclaim that it is important to get an assessment. This is just something that I use to kind of check in, and I wanted to share it with you guys, okay? So if you guys are okay with that, please go ahead and, oh, Mike, hello, darling. Thank you for coming in. Hi, Allie. Thanks for joining. Are you going to be joining me tonight, Allie, on here or on the Stella's Place handle, just so I know how to bring you in, all right? So make sure you leave me a little comment so I know what's up. So as I was saying, we're just doing a little bit of check-in. I call it a check-in from the neck up, okay? Or maybe we should call it, to rhyme it, check up from the neck up, all right? I love it. I love it. Check up from the neck up. Okay, Allie. Great. Allie's, we're going to have her on here from her account. Amazing. So this is my check up from the neck up, and what the points that I check in for are, first of all, this is important to understand the characteristics that make up good mental health to me. And this is also from the CAMH website. And it'll help you determine how mentally fit you are, right? I think that we always sometimes think of, you know, of mental health as a dramatic narrative, but just like everything else, it has a scale and a meter, and we all have our bouts with this topic, and it fluctuates from day to day, right? So I think everyone definitely needs mental health support, just because, first of all, that's being human. Like, that's being human, you know what I mean? You have to check in. Power to my African people. Black says, thank you, darling. Okay, I see you. Thank you. So this checkup from the neck up, all right? So some of the things that I look at is my ability to enjoy life, okay? My resilience and my balance, and two more things, self-actualization and flexibility. So I'll give you a quick example of what these things look like, and then we will go ahead and I'll let you guys. So those of you who are joining me, go ahead and, you know, kind of take this self-assessment with me. All right. So the ability to enjoy life, this, just to give you an example, would be, for example, you've become engaged, you join your friends and family in celebrating the future you're planning with your partner, and you realize that life before and after your marriage will bring challenges, but you worry about the problems that may come up, and it dims you from feeling that joy. So any situation that maybe you should be excited about, but you can't seem to get as excited about it as you'd like, okay? Then we have resilience. So obviously things are constantly changing. Hello, like what's happening now. So due to changes, this is an example, due to changes in the marketplace, you're suddenly laid off from the job you love, and you're shocked and angry, but those emotions fade quickly as you put the event in perspective. You gather solid references, revamp your resume, and begin a new job search, okay? So how proactive are you being, or how are you able to adapt to challenging situation, sorry. Then we have balance. An example, an old friend confronts you saying that you never have time for them. You're taken aback and you give excuses of overwork. Then you look at it from their point of view and you realize that you have been letting the relationship and other personal interests slide. This is having a balance. This is what I think people will call the work-life balance, right? All right, then my favorite, self-actualization. I use this in all my work because I feel like it's unattainable, but we try every day. This is, again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Love it. So while working full-time at an undemanding job, you take a night course in a field that has always intrigued you. You realize your talents and interests lie within this other area, so you consult with your teacher for advice and begin pursuing a new career path. I'm not gonna jump as far as to say this is a good time to explore new career paths, but a lot of the things that we were used to doing or ways of doing them have dramatically changed, right? So I think that this one's really great, just in the sense that it's really good to explore new options and new venues, and you never know, you might surprise yourself, be like, whoa, I'm amazing at this thing, okay? Then we have flexibility. Of course, the love of your life, let's say, has walked out on you. Story of my life. And you're devastated and feel like your plans for the future have been ruined. After grieving for a time, you begin to see that your expectations of the relationship and your partner were perhaps unrealistic, and gradually you reconsider what you want and expect from a partner. Okay, this is the stage I'm in. Let's say, just to give you guys a little too much information. All right. So these are, again, the factors: ability to enjoy life, resilience, balance, self-actualization, and flexibility. Okay, that we're going to explore tonight. Hello, Emmanuel, darling. Okay. So we're going to start first with ability to enjoy life. Now, I'm going to ask you these questions, and I want you to just jot down, get out a little paper. Well, I was going to say take out your phone, but you're on it watching me. So don't go away, okay? Get a little piece of paper if you can, and let's just check some points. Let's see if we agree or disagree with these things, and then we'll try and kind of calculate our scores, okay? So, ability to enjoy life. Okay, let me know. Thumbs up when you guys are ready. Thumbs up. I don't want to go too fast, even though we only have about 4 minutes until we're going to have the amazing Alex on from Stella's Place. But Alex, I hope you don't mind. I want us to kind of get through this self-assessment a little bit because I think it's really neat and important. All right, so we'll get you on as soon as we're done with this. Oh, yay. Awesome. All right, checking in. Okay, so ability to enjoy life. Let me hear it. Agree or disagree? I tend to live in the moment and appreciate the now. Okay. All right. I tend to live in the moment and appreciate the now. All right. Check if you agree or disagree. This is for you, honey. This is love for you. Okay. All right. Second, if I also am going too fast, just give me a little like slow down. I don't know what emoji that would be. Like a X, slow it down. All right. Second, this is still under ability to enjoy life, okay? I often dwell on past experiences and daydream about different outcomes, okay? Agree or disagree? I don't know. I often dwell on past experience and daydream about it. I don't know about often, but yeah, I do that. I do it a lot. Okay, let's see. Agree or disagree? All right, next. I recognize that some things can't be changed. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? I recognize that some things can't be changed. All right. Still under ability to enjoy life, guys. My feelings of happiness are often overshadowed by worry about the future. Okay. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Again, for those of you joining in, we're doing a self-assessment. Check up from the neck up. This is for yourself. I'm going to be calling out a few statements, and I want you to just to yourself decide if you agree or disagree. All right, now we're in the category of ability to enjoy life. All right. Fifth, my home is comfortable and a pleasant place. Agree or disagree? My home is a comfortable and pleasant place. Okay, lastly, I worry a lot about my friends and family. Agree or disagree? I worry a lot about my friends and family. This is under the category ability to enjoy life, okay? Now, once you guys have kind of thought about that, give me a thumbs up so we can skip down to what results may mean before we go into the other four segments, okay? All right, so just give me a thumbs up. Okay, we have I tend to live in the moment and appreciate the now. I often dwell on past experiences and daydream about different outcomes. I recognize that some things can't be changed. My feelings of happiness are often overshadowed by worry about the future. My home is a comfortable, pleasant place, and I worry a lot about my friends and family. All right, agree or disagree? Okay, so for this category, if you scored less than 3 points, this basically might mean that your enjoyment of life is being diminished by anxiety and worry, okay? And some of your concerns are based on real problems, of course, but many are what ifs and maybes, all right? If you scored 3 to 6 points, okay, it is your ability to enjoy life is good to excellent, and the higher you score, the stronger your capability to live in the moment and accept that there are some things you cannot predict or change. Okay, hello Yvette, thank you for joining us, love. All right, good. Can we move on? Next segment, thumbs up. Let me get some thumbs up for next segment. Let's move forward. How are we doing? Check up from the neck up. Again, for you guys joining in, we are checking in with ourselves, doing a little bit of a self-assessment from the CAMH website in honor of having our special guest, Stella's Place, joining us tonight, more specifically, Alex Goslin, who is the manager of clinical and recovery services. Amazing. All right, let's get into resilience. Here we go. Agree or disagree? Are you ready? I got to see y'all. I got to get some reactions. Are you guys ready? All right. I won't go with thumbs up. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. Can I get some more thumbs up, please? All right. Amazing. Okay, resilience. All right. Agree or disagree? Remember. Okay. When life gets tough, I retreat from friends and family. When life gets tough, I retreat from friends and family. Hi, Kenny Ann. Thank you for joining us for Check Up from the Neck Up. We're having a self-assessment. All right. And Shira, thank you. Check in with yourselves. Dami, I see you, babe. Check in with yourselves. Let's see how we're feeling today. All right. Resilience. When life gets tough, I retreat from friends and family. Sure. Agree or disagree? Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, I didn't mention when you're agreeing, when I was totaling the points from last time, it was saying if you got 3 or 3 to 6 or just lower than 3, it's basically, as you know, calculating. If you're agreeing with these statements, then you know what you need to check in on. Okay. When life gets tough, I retreat from friends and family. Good. When I'm under serious stress, I can't lead a normal life. Okay. All right. 3, I believe that I can learn from difficult times. Do you agree or disagree? Keep it to yourself. This is for you. You're checking in with yourself. Okay. After an emotional upheaval, it makes me feel guilty to feel happy. Okay. After an emotional incident, okay, let's say, it makes me feel guilty to feel happy. I struggle with this sometimes, for sure. I exercise regularly and eat right, even when life gets busy or stressful. I'm not. I just told you I just started working out today after finally pushing myself. I was feeling some type of way, but I'm okay. I'm getting it together, guys. All right. I have a great support network. Agree or disagree? I have a great support network. Okay, good. For those of you joined in, when life gets tough, I retreat from friends and family. When I'm under serious stress, I can't lead a normal life. I believe that I can learn from difficult times. After an emotional upheaval, it makes me feel guilty to feel happy. I exercise regularly and eat right, even when life gets busy or stressful. And I have a great support network. See if you agree or disagree with these statements, okay? This is for resilience. All right. So if you score less than 3 points, this means if there were less than 3 moments where you disagreed with these statements, okay, it means that it could insinuate or indicate that your resilience may be too low. You isolate yourself during rough times, and the lack of support and other perspectives means that you tend to stay focused on the negative. Okay, on the negative. Hi, Musica. Thank you for joining us, love. We're checking up from the neck up. Okay. If you scored within the 3 to 6 point range of of this segment of resilience. It means your resilience is good to excellent. The higher you score, the more strongly you feel that even though life can be full of tough times, it's important to keep your perspective, okay? Hi, Sarah. Hi, Dynasty. Thank you guys for joining in. We're doing a checkup from the neck up. Hello, Tome. We're checking in and seeing how we're feeling in honor of our special guest tonight, Stella's Place Mental Health Organization. And we have the pleasure of being with Alex tonight, who is the manager of clinical and recovery services. Wow, I still can't get over that. Okay, so next segment is balance. Okay, check in with yourself. Tell me if you agree or I'm sorry, don't tell me. Just to yourself, agree or disagree. I'm sorry, I'm just loving this. Y'all sharing, I just love it. Okay, balance. Tell me if you agree or disagree. There aren't enough hours in the day to accomplish everything I want to do. Agree or disagree? Okay. Second, I always make time for my hobbies and the things that make me happy. Agree or disagree? My friends often complain that they never see me. Agree or disagree? If life is a juggling act, then I think I'm a pretty good juggler. Okay. Agree or disagree? I practice a relaxation technique regularly. Agree or disagree? Focusing on work will get me where I want to be. Agree or disagree? Hi, Moses. Thank you for joining us. Moses, my favorite artist. Oh, my God. He is a painter, and his work is mind-blowing. Sorry. I got distracted. I got excited. These things one of the things that bring me joy, seeing his paintings and his pieces. Okay. So this is balance. All right. Again, for balance, if you score less than 3 points, your life is out of balance. Again, these are, this is from the CAMH website. This is a self-assessment. I am not a mental health professional by any means. I'm just sharing tools that I use sometimes to check in with myself. And again, it is from the CAMH website. I think it can be very helpful. This is by no means to serve as a diagnosis. I don't believe that one can diagnose themselves, but you can check up from the neck up, okay? If you scored less than 3 points for balance, so your life is out of balance, okay? Whether it's work, family, or personal interests, one or more aspects of your life are being neglected, okay, or being neglected. All right, 3 to 6 points if you scored within that range. Your life has a fair to good degree of balance. The higher you score, of course, the stronger your realization that there are many facets to your life that are important to you and deserving of your interest and attention. Okay, excellent. Can I get some thumbs up if you guys are still with me? If I'm going too fast, please let me know. We're getting into our last, we only have 2 more segments before we bring on Alex from Stella's Place, again, the manager of clinical and recovery services. Okay, so we're gonna go through this a little quicker because we have to get her on. And our time is always limited because Instagram is a hater and wants to cut us off after an hour. All right, good. So this portion next is self-actualization, okay? Self-actualization check-in portion. Here we go. Agree or disagree? Compliments make me uncomfortable. Compliments make me uncomfortable. Okay. I have good self-esteem. I have good self-esteem. Okay. When people say I have positive qualities, I have trouble believing what they're saying. I have trouble believing what they're saying. Agree or disagree? Okay, I know what my strengths are and I work to develop them. Okay, agree or disagree? Check in with yourself, jot it down, just see how you're feeling. Okay, I feel I'm reaching my potential. Agree or disagree? Okay, lastly, within the self-actualization category of the self-assessment, taking chances are risky, but it's worth the risk. Agree or disagree? Okay. All right. Good. All right. Okay. Self-actualization. If you scored less than 3 points, you're lacking in self-esteem. Again, this may imply that you are lacking in self-esteem. You tend not to trust other people's good opinions of your abilities and talents, nor do you feel that you could truly make more of your life. Okay, if you scored between the 3 to 6 point range, you have a good to high degree of self-actualization. The higher your score, the more you are able to value your own unique strengths and potential and work to develop them to enhance your life. Okay, to enhance your life. Very good. All right, last category, flexibility, okay, which is, I think, a really relevant topic given this pandemic situation that we're going through right now. All right. Flexibility, let's jump into it. Is everyone ready to move on to flexibility? This is the last segment. For those of you who just joined, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Okay. Flexibility. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on to flexibility. Thank you. Thank you. Paul Merle, amazing. Okay. Let's get into it. All right. I don't always know what to expect from people. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? All right. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. Thanks for sticking in there. I hope this is helpful, honey. I do this every day because my agree and disagrees change daily. Yeah, they do. They do. Some days are good, some days are bad, right? All right. I don't always know what to expect from people. Good. Next, my problems are usually caused by other people. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Okay. Life is smoother when I keep my emotion. I'm sorry. Life is smoother when I keep my emotions level at all times. All right. Life is smoother when I keep my emotions level at all times. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Okay. Very good. I accept things the way they are, even if I don't like them. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Okay. Sorry. I'm often frustrated when other people don't share my point of view. Agree or disagree? This one's a tough one for me. I get there sometimes. I'm working on it, guys. Every day. I'm human. Hello. Okay. Good. I'm often frustrated when other people don't share my point of view. Okay. Good. I cope well with change. Do I feel rattled when there's change? Do I prefer for things to stay the same? I may even go as far as to say monotonous at times. Okay. Great. Flexibility. Check in with yourself. If you scored less than 3 points, you're not as flexible as you could be in your opinions and expectations of others. This rigidity can create a strong sense of frustration. I don't know about you guys, but when I get frustrated, I just want to shut down. I just want to go in my bed. I just don't. It's a lot. I'm like, I can't. It's a lot. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to curl up. Okay, 3 to 6 points if you score within this range. Meaning 3 and up. Of course, you have a fair to good level of flexibility. The higher you score, the stronger your belief that change is a fact of life and that seeing things from other points of views helps you adapt to change and make the most of your life and the people in it. All right. 9:30. This is perfect. Alex, I'm going to get you in here and we got 30 minutes to make it count. And I have so many questions to ask you, as I'm sure everyone else does. But guys, you can definitely put some questions in the comments, and if we have time for them, just as a disclaimer, we will get to them. But you know, this show is kind of always tailored very specifically in terms of the questions and what the subject matter will be, because we are kind of on a bit of a schedule. So you can leave your comments and questions, your questions rather, and if we have time to get to it, we'll get to it. I hope you guys are able to check up from the neck up. I will maybe do this and check in with you guys once a month or every so often, so we see how we're feeling, okay? We're going to go ahead. Alex, I'm sure you sent me a request. Let me check. If you did, we're going to bring on Alex, guys, the manager of clinical and recovery services from Stella's Place, a mental health organization in Toronto. Please, you guys, let me get some claps. We need some love. We need some claps, because she's going to be dropping gems tonight, honey. We all need this. This is one of the most resourceful tools to have in this moment, is seeing how we're feeling mentally. All right. You guys, give me some claps. Yay! Woo! Virtual claps. Okay. Yay! Oh, you guys are amazing. All right. Here we go. Hi, Alex.
Hey.
So you were telling us about the importance of mental health awareness.
Yeah, I was just saying it's extremely important to bring awareness to mental health, especially during COVID-19. We're seeing a lot of information in the news, and a lot of that information is really heavy. And I would argue that mental health is very much taking a back seat now in the conversation. And there's definitely some very significant psychological impacts that a pandemic is going to have, not just on as you know, we're a community experiencing a crisis right now, but
Right.
also individuals, and people have lived experiences that were pre-existing before any of this happened. And so, add a pandemic to that, and that's really just going to increase people's susceptibility to emotional vulnerability, meaning that we're going to be maybe experiencing a little bit more emotional reactivity. We might be experiencing increased levels of nervous system arousal, which might make it hard to find that place of calm, or find that sense of kind of safety within our bodies. So yeah, it has a huge impact and definitely needs to be talked about, and folks need to understand where they can receive support, because we're receiving so much information right now. Sometimes it's hard to know like where to go.
Exactly. I feel so flooded with information.
Yeah.
And again, I just want to say that, like, I know for me, I know you mentioned earlier about not even realizing how hard hitting something is. And so I remember having like a very kind of dramatic, for me, it was dramatic for my usual behavior, like emotional reaction. I was just watching the news one day and I just started crying, and I was like, what? I thought I was okay. Like, what's going on, But I just realized that I was like, uncertainty. I kind of delved in and realized that I'm not a fan of uncertainty.
Yeah.
That terrifies me. I'm like, okay, I need to know what's going on at all times. So just little things like that. And I say that, to use my example, just to say that again, there's like different levels. There's a scale and a meter that everyone, that's why it's important to check in, because you might definitely think you're okay, but then there's moments, that kind of trigger things within you. And that's why I think it's important
For sure.
to check in.
Resonates with me, because I also shared a similar experience where I was like, I'm okay. I'm thinking of that mean dog that's like, this is fine, and there's like fire burning around the dog.
I know. Like, how could you not be affected by it, right? For sure. That's such a great point. So you did mention about the kind of psychological impacts of a pandemic. Could you talk to us a little bit more specific? Could you give us like 2 or 3 concrete or common, what are some common psychological impacts of a pandemic?
Ooh, there's definitely.
I know. I know. I just like, we have so little time, Alex. We need to know everything.
Um, Obviously, the social distancing and the physical distancing can impact relationships. Folks might find themselves feeling a bit more insecure.
Sure.
Distractions of being able to go outside, sometimes word. And then on the total flip side of that, some folks might be isolated with folks that they may not feel safe with, for example.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Obviously, the financial impact. Losing employment, job insecurity, or alternatively, folks who, let's say, are undocumented, maybe they don't have access to the same benefits that other people do.
Right.
That's a big one. As well as just fear, as you said, that fear of unknown. We're not sure how. That's very difficult to cope with that and to wrap. And that fear can really kind of snowball different types of behaviors. We might see, folks might feel safer by buying some stuff to help them feel more safe.
Hence the toilet paper.
The toilet paper. Yeah, like, we're seeing a lot of like, public shaming on that. But then on the flip side, it's like, this is a very human reaction to feeling unsafe. So I'm thinking a lot about that type of stuff, or how it feels to go outside now might not feel safe for a lot of people, and how do we cope with some of those feelings. So to name a few, there's
I know there's tons, but thank you for just sharing those. I think those are key ones. And I know even for me, when I'm going out, I definitely, even just to go get groceries, right? I definitely have it's taking me longer. I never thought I'd have to like adjust or have a period of adjustment to go outside. It feels very foreign, and I feel very kind of like afraid sometimes. And I also don't like how it makes you like kind of leery of everyone. I don't like this energy that transpires, right? Where we're like, always on guard. That's so nerve-wracking. I'm like, I just want to go home. I feel safe when I shut my door, and I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
That's definitely intense. So, okay, so regarding the effects of mental health during a pandemic, since we're on this topic, what would you say is your greatest concern? I know there's many concerns, but as it pertains to mental health, what is your greatest concern? Or maybe within the industry, what are things that you're seeing? What is your greatest concern?
As I mentioned, folks who might be in environments where they're not feeling safe, that's definitely a concern. So how to make sure that the services that we are offering are accessible to those folks. So if they're not able to talk on the phone or if the video isn't safe for them, we're also concerned about the impacts of social isolation. So might experience, how do I cope with feeling down and getting through this?
Yeah.
How do I maintain some semblance of connection?
Yeah.
Also, suicidality, that's another concern for sure. So distress
Oh,
line city, there's increases in access to those services, as well as supporting folks with the lack of structure. Um,
that's a huge, for me. Oh, I'm struggling with that for sure. The structure. Yeah.
and that's a big, we'll hear a lot in the news, like, have structure in your day, but of course, the things that we might normally structure our day with are no longer accessible. So that
Right.
rethink and reimagine what structure looks like when we're social distancing. And so that's a big part of what we're trying to support people with.
Yeah, and I feel like it's difficult to try to think outside the box and reorganize and restructure life when you're also like just trying to cope with like accepting that this other thing is happening. Like, right?
Exactly.
At
Yeah.
least this is my thought process. So are you finding that during these times, perhaps given these concerns, that there's a higher demand of people that are reaching out to you guys?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of anticipated the possibility that folks might
Of course,
report during COVID
of
and
course.
increased access to some of our more low barrier services. So
Right.
have a peer support chat called Beanbag Chat. We've seen increases in that number, and we've also increased the hours of it. So the online chat is where folks can kind of log in and talk to a peer supporter from Stella's Place,
Okay.
hours of 12 and 9 p.m. So I wish I had the exact numbers, which I have them up somewhere in my computer here. But
Yeah, I mean, well, you can take. Yeah, you can if you want to take some time to look at those numbers. We'd love for you to share it with us.
yeah, okay. I'll try to like look it up in the background. But I know that it's increased quite a bit actually. So
Okay.
and we've also increased the hours, like I said. Um, our walk-in counseling program was previously in person, obviously, and so we had to adjust that to same-day video and or phone counseling. And so we've also seen increases in numbers for that. Though
Okay.
that program is a bit more of a steady increase. And what we've noticed is over the past week, the numbers have slowly started to climb. And I'm wondering if that might have something to do with that inundation of information. And now the dust has settled. We know we're going to be home for a little while. So,
Right.
yeah. We've also had to, the rest of our programs, most of the folks were already registered. And so we are
Okay. Good.
pleasantly surprised that, continue to stay engaged. We really haven't had a high um, we've had a high retention rate in our programs, which is awesome. And so folks are staying connected. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on so far for us. Mostly just the low barrier programs have increased, and then the rest of them, it's just the retention of the folks in the existing programs.
I'm familiar with, for example, your virtual beanbag program, but bean chat program. But I just because you were mentioning the different programs you have, can we just take a little bit of time to let our viewers know? So, for those of you who are just joining us, thank you. Stella's Place is a mental health organization. We're here with Alex, who is dropping gems right now. But so let's first talk about what were some of the programs that Stella's Place maybe had in place before, so people kind of know what services you offer, and then we can dive into how have they been like transitioned to kind of accommodate this pandemic.
So prior to this, we do a mixture of peer support and clinical groups, and then sometimes a little mix where we do peer and clinical integration. And so we have
I'm sorry. What is the peer? What would a peer
yeah.
group look like? Yeah, what does that look like?
So our peer supporters are folks who have lived experience navigating the mental health system, and part of their role is to support with engagement, community connection, sharing some of their experiences, navigating mental health services, and providing that sort of lived experience and how they kind of moved through. Um, our peer supporters are also attached to our clinical programs. So our clinical programs are run by folks who are mental health clinicians. These are usually social workers or psychotherapists So they'll work alongside each other to run groups and to also support participants.
Okay, okay. Okay, so okay, perfect. Good to know. So we have those services. So this is what you were offering before, and how have you adapted that now given this pandemic? How are those services being modified?
Yeah, for sure. So, like our peer support programs. So, for example, we used to have a program where folks would go and do art at Stella's place. This
Yeah.
program go, and
That's
so
one of my favorite things about you guys. I love how interactive you guys are and involved you are in the art side because I do think it's therapeutic. Absolutely.
yeah, so studio is like one of our most popular programs, and so once COVID happened, one of our peer supporters took initiative to bring studio online. So now we're doing something called virtual studio. We have about 29 participants who are
It's
registered for that right.
amazing.
Yeah. And like basically what happens is they're given kind of ideas for art that they can do at home that's accessible, things that you might find around the house, and then they have options to share that with other folks in the community.
So useful. Do you guys have writing workshops? I'm having writer's block. You guys need to get some for all forms of art. That's what I need right now.
I mean, we're also really open to feedback and like ideas. So like
Good.
if
Okay.
that folks would be interested in, like definitely connect with Stella's Place. The information's on our website, and Mol's the peer supporter who works in that program, and I'm sure they'd be interested in hearing some ideas. Basically, like we've had to be so flexible with our programs. Like virtual studio is one example. We also run one of our clinical programs is called DBT, which stands for dialectical behavior therapy. This is a group of folks learn skills to help them manage and cope with difficult thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, and regulate their emotions when they're feeling like their emotions are kind of, 12 out of 10 on the scale, or when they're feeling really difficult to motivate themselves. And so what we've done with that program is we're now offering one-to-one counseling where we're actually skills through video or through phone, or alternatively, one of our clinicians has also taken some initiative to do some seminar teaching over video so that the participants
Okay.
watch the skills being taught, and then they also still get the option to meet with their clinician and then do some one-to-one counseling. And then in addition to that, our peer supporters are available to our participants as well, so that they can talk to someone who's been through the group who can help them learn and apply the skills to their life.
Amazing. And I'm sure people, because we have people who are in Toronto, but a few people who are not in Toronto. Now that things are kind of done virtually,
Yeah.
maybe some people can reach out to you guys that aren't necessarily, I'm not sure. So I guess people know, who are these services for? How, is this kind of for everyone, or is there a specific age group?
Yeah, there is. So we serve folks who are between the ages of 16 and 29. Folks who are 29 receive services in their 29th year.
Yeah.
Um, we're an organization in which folks who self-identify with living with mental health challenges can come access our services,
Sure.
and folks who are maybe seeking support from kind of peers. So you don't necessarily be also struggling with mental health. You might just be someone who's looking to connect with other people.
I'm gonna say, yeah, you might just
Yeah,
want to connect with someone. Hmm.
exactly. So that's, we kind of offer a different variety of things. Right now, we're still exploring how to bring some of the programs that we had before, like fitness and yoga. That's generally stuff that we would offer. But for now, I would say the best way to connect with us is to go on our website and contact our access team by email or call and access one of our low barrier programs. That'll be the quickest way to get in right now.
Okay. What does that mean, low barrier?
So we have our walk-in counseling program. So walk-in happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 3 and 6 p.m., where you can
Okay.
get counseling with a clinician. And just send an email to us, and one of our access team members will get in touch with you and let you know what the next steps are. And the sessions are roughly about 45 minutes, and you'll get immediate counseling that day.
Amazing.
And another way to get connected is through the Beanbag Chat. Beanbag Chat, like I said, happens from 12 to 9 p.m. This happens from Monday to Friday, and also on Monday we have hours from 4 to 9 p.m.
Amazing. So, and that's what I kind of really love, the diversity of the services you offer, because again, there's different levels to this, right? So some people might be discouraged. They might say, "Oh, I don't know if I should reach out." Maybe there's other people who need this more than I do, and vice versa. So I think it's really great that everyone can check in. Again, as you said, having low barrier programs can allow those who might not necessarily identify as having mental health concerns, but are now in this situation where they're faced with things that they weren't really, you know, that they weren't used to being faced with before, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
that's really excellent. And I think a lot of people want to know too. I know, I mean, again, speaking on that topic, that most people think that mental health is an issue that only affects some people. But again, during this pandemic, we're all being affected by it, whether we realize it or not. I think it's just a matter of time before it hits some of us, because I know I was kind of in denial for a while, for sure. So I think people want to know, like, a little more concretely, what are ways that I can cope? I know there's tons of ways, but from your perspective, could you just give us like maybe two or three concrete ways? What are some ways that a person can cope with with this trauma?
Hmm. I would say a big one is um, just kind of reminding yourself that we're in this together, that, you know, this is a community crisis, that you're not alone in some of the feelings that you're experiencing, and that it is
Yeah.
absolutely normal to feel scared, to feel sad, to feel confused. You know, you may have a whole range of emotions that might arise during this. So just that kind of first piece of calming humanity and normalization of some of those experiences that might arise.
Hmm. That's a
Another,
great one. That's so. I feel like most of the time we always feel like we're going through something alone. That's a key one for me,
yeah,
because we want to identify, right? So when we identify with others, then we're like, oh, this, we want to feel as this. What is normalcy? What is normalcy? What does that mean? But essentially, for lack of a better word, forgive me, you know, if I'm not being sensitive enough. But that's, you know, that's what people want to feel.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it can be helpful to remind ourselves of the collective experience as a way to kind of like calm our nervous systems. Yeah.
Absolutely,
I would
absolutely.
that's helpful is to kind of maybe shift our expectations for ourselves, because
Ooh, yeah.
not necessarily going to be as productive. Our sleep might not be as well. It's very true
Mm.
for folks to self motivate without COVID, let alone in
Tell
and
me about it.
ourselves permission to be like a bit more flexible and gentle with ourselves as best as we can. This might mean, you know, maybe looking for, you know, what are some small moments of control that I have, or what are, you know, some of those small areas of my life where I do have the ability to have an impact, right? Is it, can I
Right.
build magic cooking my food, or like, you know, did I shower today? Did I get dressed? Like just those little
Yeah.
things I have to remember, and just
Yeah.
reminding small moments of control can be helpful in regulating. And it helps us also find a little bit of stability too, right?
That's very true. That's, I was just gonna say, sorry, that's part of why I feel like I had, today was probably one of the best days I've had during this period, because I finally like made a very stern decision to just do something small and then see where it took me. Like, not like making a huge plan and being overwhelmed by it. Just like, oh, you got up, you made your bed. Oh, you worked out. Oh, you did, just, and then deciding what I was going to do next as I went along. I found that to be so useful to me today.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And like building off of that, I would say like one last thing that might be helpful for some folks is just a little bit of grounding. So when you're noticing yourself kind of getting pulled into the emotions and feeling that distress, just taking a moment just to notice that and just acknowledge what's there, and
Mhm.
that attention from inside to maybe the outside. What's around me? What can I see? What can I touch? Can I open my window and let some air into my apartment or wherever
Yeah.
you and as best
Little
as you
pleasures. I call them little pleasures.
those little things that bring comfort can definitely help. And it's and just acknowledging that it's not going to be perfect and that there's going to be ups and downs through this, and that's part of it.
I agree. For example, just coming back to comfort, you know, Easter just passed, and I'm, my family's in Chicago, so I'm here alone, and that was really tough for me. And
Mm.
what it, you know, to try and feel like I was at home, not only of course talking with family, but I decided to kind of make, you know, make soul food, which is kind of like a traditional thing that we did in my household growing up. Just things that reminded me of being at home with my family, having that smell in my kitchen. I made like a whole meal for just myself. It's, you know, it's fine. I acted like I was having guests come over, and that was a little, like a little pleasure that reminded me of another time, you know. So just again coming back to those little things that bring you that comfort. That's what I did.
I love that. I love that. I try to do things like that as well. Or
Yeah.
like eat my food over a virtual chat with someone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So I know when we spoke, you also mentioned that there are some other factors, I guess, that Stella's Place has had to think about during this time as you guys try and accommodate people. So what role does you mentioned something about access and technology? So what role does access and technology play in the way you've altered your services? And again, we can even talk about privacy. People might be worried about their privacy as they're being counseled, or reaching out to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of thoughts on this, so I'll do my best to be concise.
Of course, we're with you. We're hanging in there. If you guys
Yeah,
are with us and hanging out and loving this, please go ahead and feel free to give us some thumbs up, guys. We're again here with Alex from Stella's Place. We're so lucky to have her. She's the manager of clinical and recovery services. So please be sure to show her some love. Can I get some thumbs up? All right.
yeah. Someone asked me, like what does a sort of national plan look like to support being more accessible virtually? And I was like, well, that needs to start with making sure people have access to internet and access to affordable phone plans. So that's something we're thinking about is, maybe folks don't necessarily have a data plan, or maybe they don't
Right.
have Wi-Fi. And so we need to make sure that we're being transparent and open with folks accessing service around what the benefits and the challenges might be in accessing our
Right.
service. And so that's one thing that we've done for sure. So like as part of the intake process, so if someone called us for same day counseling this Thursday and wanted to know, that's some of the questions that they're going to be asked and reminded of is, do you have a secure Wi-Fi? Do you have a private space that you can connect with us in? If you don't, here are some of the here's some of the risks, here are some of the benefits, and here are your options. So, if
So you do offer options, maybe that they great.
yeah, exactly. So for example, someone's maybe not in a secure Wi-Fi, that can leave the person a bit more vulnerable to
Sure.
external forces getting involved, which is obviously not ideal. And so we do need to
Sure.
partner with folks around that. And so maybe phone might be a better option for that person.
Mm-hmm. And so I had to switch over just now, the
Yeah,
internet.
exactly. Same. Like I wasn't, sometimes my internet's, and that's same for our clinicians too, and our peer support, making sure that we have access to solid internet and connectivity. In terms of privacy, we are really like upfront with folks around privacy, like I said. Um, and then all of the platforms that we use are also compliant with the Privacy, Health and Information Act of Ontario. So when folks sign up for our services, that is kind of stipulated. So we use a mixture. We use a few different platforms. The Beanbag Chat one, where folks can access peer support. We also use Doxy.me. So this is an online platform for telehealth. And then we're exploring the option of using Zoom, but it hasn't quite started yet. But we're going to be using the new kind of
Yeah.
HIPAA certified.
Some people, Zoom is hit or miss for me. I don't know. I don't know what the secret is. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's like, what's happening?
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the adjustments. I mean, we've also, as a team, have had to kind of talk regularly about how to deliver online services. So like some of the considerations that we have now is that now we're checking in with folks around their location before we connect with them, which we wouldn't have had to do before because we're already in the same building.
Absolutely.
That just making sure that staff have the training and understanding about some of the ways that we need to change. As well as our team meets for consultations, both the peers and the clinicians, to talk about, what are some ways we can modify our programs so that we can still have some engagement. That
Sure.
might, so activities that are really experiential might not translate so well on a video. So
I
it's like,
was just gonna tell you, I'm not necessarily a fan of. I don't believe that like human connection can happen always digitally, but or virtually. Sorry, but yeah, please do talk more about that because I'm like, is it less effective, as effective? How do you guys ensure that you're still engaging and making people feel like you're really there for them when it's hard.
it is hard. It is hard. And, to some degree, it's not exactly the same.
Of
Um,
course.
I think at this stage, like at least for us, like we're still gathering research, so it's hard to say exactly.
Everyone is, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
but I will say, like we've had to make some like little adjustments. Like it might mean both phone, the clinicians or the peers might get a little bit more creative in the types of questions that they're asking. If they're doing a grounding exercise with someone, I can't see what's around them, so I might ask them, "Hey, can you look around your room? Can you tell me maybe 5 things that you can see around you? You know, things like that. Or you might,
Nice.
where are you know, how are you feeling? Do we need to take a walk, get up together and just walk around your apartment? Can
Yes.
you? So it just, we start getting a little bit more creative like that.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah. So I would say, you know, that's kind of that's a big one. In some cases, if it's possible, we might share resources online. That's actually been a nice thing about working online is that you can send them an attachment right now. So if I'm doing,
Absolutely.
hey, I have this resource, how about you open it on your phone now or open it on your computer right now?
Mm-hmm.
So in some ways, it can actually be really great because now I don't have to get out of the counseling room, print a piece of paper, come back. We, you know, we can continue the conversation and look at the work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those are a few. Those are some small ways.
Absolutely. Incredible. I really love those, some of the suggestions and some of the things you guys are doing and initiating. I think those that can definitely make it more engaging. Absolutely. So okay, so that also covers my question about strategies that you guys have put into place. So I just want to backtrack a little bit. And discuss a little bit more about could you tell us more in detail? I know you met, could you just reiterate for me again the dialectical therapy approach? Could you reiterate what that entails and what that's like a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So DBT stands for dialectical behavior therapy. And dialectical is a fancy way of saying that two opposing truths can exist at one time. And so I think during COVID, like this is actually like super helpful skill to sort of learn and start to explore is this idea that, you know, I can accept my reality as it is. You know, I can accept that there's difficulty in my situation.
Yes.
I don't have to like or approve of any of the emotions feelings that come along with that. And I can have a desire to, you know, maybe work on some strategies to help me cope with that, right? That
Yes.
might, so those two opposing forces can exist at one time. So
Absolutely.
DBT teaches folks how to do that through a number of ways. We support folks in learning mindfulness skills. That's one of the kind of foundational modules where we learn how to be observant of our thoughts, feelings, physical reactions.
Mm-hmm.
We support folks in learning how to tolerate their distress, so increase our resilience to uncomfortable internal experiences, and also
Yeah.
turn the volume down when you need to. So when we're feeling, you know, that 12 out of 10 on the distress scale, how to kind of come back from that without making,
Okay.
yeah. Um,
Understood. Okay.
there's emotion regulation skills that are involved as well. So like, what are the things I can do day to day to take care of myself? And
Mm-hmm.
then the last piece is around interpersonal effectiveness. So how can I maintain my relationships, navigate challenges in relationships, and things like that.
I would say I'm not afraid to reach out to people, but I do live generally such a busy life. But during these times, I'm trying to make sure that I'm reaching out to others, not only to check in with them, of course, but also because I realized that I needed that more, and not being afraid to kind of say to someone, hey, we all need to talk and connect. I need to reach out to someone. Can I call you? And I feel like there's a level of pride that some people experience where they don't want to come off a certain way, so they don't do that, right? But I do want to say that like everyone again is going through this exact same feeling, and that's so necessary and so important. I almost kind of even hassle some of my friends for us to get on apps and play games and regularly check in like a mom, begging everyone to come to Sunday dinner. I'm like, we have to connect.
And I love what you said too, because you're also pointing out that, you know, I can have these thoughts and feelings and
Yeah.
concerns about connecting what that means for me and still want to do it. So like I can have
Yeah.
complex experience and all of
Yeah.
that can
It's
exist. Yeah.
always an internal struggle, but I did want to kind of, where our time is wrapping up here. And kind of one of my two kind of last thoughts. One, what did you think about the assessment that I did earlier? How did that? I know I got it from the Cambridge website. It's something that I, try to use to check in. I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you guys for these low barrier programs and checking and seeing what's going on. But yeah, in regards to the assessment, did you think that those components of the assessment are helpful? And also, what are some, how do you guys assess a kind of what programs, maybe, what if someone comes to you and they're like, we don't know what program we want to be in or what really we need, right? Especially during this time, things, our emotions are confused. So what are ways that you assess people that reach out to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have an intake process, and that to get it to get kind of connected with intake, again, you'd go through our website and you'd be connected with one of our access counselors. Our intake process, what typically happens is folks would complete assessment tools, and so there's a few pieces. Some of them are a bit lengthy, to be honest, but
Okay.
kind of understand why folks are coming into the space, what they need, and then helps us work with them to identify which programs might be the best fit. And so, component where you're kind of, most of it's kind of check boxes,
Gotcha.
types of things. And then the second piece that we would do is like, sort of like a phone intake session where the access counselor would ask you a couple more things about what's bringing you into the space and what your hopes are, how you'd like your life to look like if you weren't facing the challenges. Thing. And so little questions that help us to kind of understand where people might land. And then from there, we would propose programs based on the program offering and based on kind of how they kind of completed the assessment tools, where they might land. And then we'd have a conversation with the person about it. And for most folks, it's a mixture of our peer program and our clinical program.
Got you. Okay, great. Thank you. Because even I wanted to know. Amazing for when I reach out to you guys.
But like I said, for some of our programs, the low barrier ones, low barrier meaning
Sure.
you can just access those right away. So that would be
Okay.
counseling or the beanbag chat. But for programs like the dialectical behavior therapy program, that one you would definitely need to contact Stella's Place and schedule an intake for that.
That makes sense. Well, you guys, while I ask Alex this last question, you guys ask a question. If you have a question, we have time maybe for one, maybe two, very quickly, if you don't mind, Alex.
Oh, no.
Okay, amazing. So go ahead. If you have any questions you want to ask, this is the time to do so. While we're waiting for you guys to put in and submit your questions, what are kind of some lasting words that you want to leave with us before we sadly let you go?
Oh, I was like, I feel like I like blinked my eyes in this interview.
I know time flies when you're dropping gems or having these amazing conversations.
Yeah, no, this is so great.
What kind of would you just want to tell, tell people, as they're going through this time?
Yeah, just to reiterate that, we're going through this together and that folks are not alone. I would invite folks to consider connecting with Stella's Place. We're here for folks. We want to hear about what you're going through and how we can support that, and also how we can adapt our programs to meet those needs. So we're not, set in stone with how we're doing things right now. We very much value the opinions of our community and are willing to.
Flexibility is important.
I'm thinking about, what I actually just wrote down a bunch of, I didn't even remember what all the categories were. So when you asked me my thoughts, I was like, oh no.
Oh, it's okay. But yeah, flexibility was definitely one, and resilience.
Resilience. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, needless to say, I would really invite people to like try to connect with us, email our access team, and, we're
Checking
here
in never hurt anyone. That's
for
all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And like part of our aim is to, support folks in learning some tools and strategies that they can also use outside of all of these sessions too. And so hopefully that will give folks some things that might help them get through COVID. Yeah.
You guys use Stella's Place and Alex and the whole Stella's Place team as a resource, because I'm constantly hearing the same question. How are you getting through your day? What are you doing today? And I'm like, what I'm doing might only work for me. I want to be very honest about that. This is kind of a thought that I just had. I always tell people, of course, what I'm doing to cope and hope that something is useful, but why not go to a source that can actually kind of help you tailor what's best for you? Why wouldn't you use that resource, guys? Okay, so definitely please be sure to take advantage of that and use that resource. I'm so grateful for Stella's Place and you guys. I actually met you guys when I performed and did a mental health piece at your center back when but we could go outside. And that's how my relationship with Stella's Place started. And I went there to perform and ended up leaving like not only meeting amazing people but feeling emotional and feeling vulnerable and open and ready to even heal. I was like, whoa, what? I was just supposed to come and perform. I wasn't prepared to. And so that's, kind of where I have such a high regard for the organization, what you guys do, because it was something that I didn't even know I needed. So
I'm so glad you shared that too, because I share that feeling too every time I'm at work and every time I have an interaction. Like, yes, COVID-19 is extremely difficult, and I don't want to sugarcoat that reality. And I want to acknowledge the resilience of our community and the power that our community has and our collective sort of support that we've been seeing.
Absolutely.
I've been awed by the feedback I've been hearing from our participants around kind of how they're coping with COVID. And while it's difficult, it's also really clear to me that folks are resilient and that they're getting by and that they're using this.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
I mean, for me, it's kind of one of those when your back's up against the wall, you got to do what you got to do, And I think that something instinctive or innate clicks in. So trust that. The only problem is that we don't trust that instinct and that innate thought or ability or process that happens. Trust that and follow it. Thank you so much, Alex. You guys, let's give Alex some love before we let her go. Can I get some claps? You guys didn't have any questions. That means you answered everything we needed to know. Amazing. So that's really great. Everyone, thank you guys for the comments. She's useful and great organization. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, we thank Stella's Place. You guys use these resources. On my page, I have, actually, I'm going to pin the Instagram. Stella's Place. It's all it's just like this, right? Oh, hold on. oh my God, I'm still like getting my Instagram life together. Is this? Okay, here we go. My one friend Mike told me how to pin a comment the other day. Oh, boom. Did I do it right? Okay. Oh my God. So you guys, please go ahead and follow Stella's Place, and that way you can have access to all of the resources again and a reiteration of everything that Alex has shared with us tonight. It's all readily available for you guys. Use the resources you have. It's necessary. I know I will. So I definitely will be checking in, Alex. I'll be seeing you after this. Well, I'll be checking in with you guys.
It was such a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me and for thinking about Stella's Place and sharing your platform to help us get the word out.
Thank you guys. The pleasure was all mine. All right, everyone. Okay, we'll let you go. Be safe, and I'll check in with you guys very soon.
Sounds great. Take care.
All righty, you too. Ciao. All right, everyone. Oh, that was so amazing. I just knew I was ready for it, honey. Okay, guys. I'm so grateful for you guys for tuning in. We're about to wrap up the show before Instagram tries to kick me off. Again, Stella's Place, great resource. The self-assessment that we did, I hope that was useful. Go back and just look at that and review that a little bit. And if you are in an area that, if you don't have access to Stella's Place because you don't either fit the age group or you aren't in the Toronto area, even though now with the virtual component of their services, you can still reach out to them. But if you don't necessarily, I know we have some people who are maybe a little bit over 29, but it's still important for you to check in with your mental health. So look at what other organizations are in your local area. And there's a lot of free stuff too, or just simply check in with people, guys. Hold each other accountable, okay? But just trying to figure out what's happening and checking in never hurt nobody. It never hurt nobody. All right, guys. I love you guys all so much. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And be sure to tune in every Tuesday from 9 to 10 right here on the Sedelia and Jai Show. Ciao.